Welcome to A&O Productions, where we delve into the profound mysteries and extraordinary events of the Christian Bible. In this video, we will introduce the topic, Elon Musk reveals the first ever real image of Jesus Christ, a story that will change the world.
Have you ever stopped to wonder, what did Jesus truly look like? Since childhood, we have been raised with the image of a long-haired, fair-skinned man with eyes that seem to glow with divine serenity. This image of Jesus has been ingrained into our minds, appearing in paintings, stained glass windows, and Hollywood films. It's an image we accept without much thought. But what if this image, the one we've held dear for centuries, isn't the truth? In 2025, Elon Musk, the tech mogul who has already made history by sending humans to Mars, made a shocking revelation. He announced, "I have recreated the real image of Jesus Christ using science." This wasn't just another headline in the tech world. It was a declaration that has sent ripples through religious, academic, and cultural circles. For the first time in centuries, the image of Jesus that we thought we knew so well was being questioned and, in a sense, turned upside down. This revelation is not only a challenge to the visual traditions of Western Christianity, but it also raises profound questions about how we perceive divinity, culture, and history itself. Could it be that what we've accepted as truth is nothing more than a cultural projection of centuries-old biases? Or is this newfound image an opportunity for us to reconsider our faith and its true roots? In this groundbreaking exploration, we delve into the science, history, and implications of Elon Musk's findings. Join me as we uncover the layers of cultural distortion and scientific revelation. What we find may change the way we view faith, identity, and the very nature of who Jesus Christ was. Don't miss the next part of this incredible journey. Stay tuned as we continue to explore this deep and thought-provoking story. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Elon Musk reveals the first ever real image of Jesus Christ, a story that will change the world. A twisted history. Who is the real Jesus Christ? To truly understand why the image of Jesus Christ has been whitened over the centuries, we need to step back in time, all the way to the early days of Christianity and the powerful forces that shaped it. 1. The image crafted by empires. It is no coincidence that the image of Jesus Christ as a fair-skinned, light-haired man began to dominate in Western culture after the 4th century. This transformation occurred when Christianity was adopted as the official religion of the Roman Empire. As the empire expanded, it became not only a religious movement, but a political one. The church, alongside the emperors, began to use religious symbolism as a means to solidify control and influence. During the Renaissance, the work of artists such as Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and countless others solidified the image of Jesus as a European figure. These iconic works, the ones we now admire in museums and churches, were not just about capturing a spiritual truth, but about projecting the idealized image of the ruling class at the time. These depictions of Jesus were designed to align with the beauty standards of the European elite, reinforcing a certain racial and cultural supremacy. The powerful did not just want to rule the world, they wanted to see their own image reflected in the divine. They crafted Jesus in their own likeness. Religion, as we now know, is not just a matter of belief. It has long been intertwined with power, with influence over people's minds and hearts. And power always seeks to see itself reflected in the divine. This is why the image of Jesus as a white man became so deeply entrenched in Western culture. It was not merely a theological matter. It was a carefully constructed narrative designed to serve the interests of those in power. 2. Places where Jesus is depicted differently. But the story doesn't end there. Around the world, there are places where the image of Jesus was never whitened, where he has always been depicted in a way that aligns with the cultural and historical reality of the region. In Ethiopia, for example, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church has consistently portrayed Jesus, the Virgin Mary, and the saints with dark skin, curly hair, and full lips. For the people of Ethiopia, these depictions are not just artistic choices, they are deeply rooted in cultural authenticity. The Ethiopian Church has long resisted the Western-imposed images of a fair-skinned European Christ. Instead, they have embraced a portrayal of Christ that reflects their own identity, history, and spirituality. To the Ethiopian Christians, Jesus cannot and should not be borrowed from a European ideal. He is part of their history, their struggles, and their faith. In Mexico, the Virgin of Guadalupe presents another powerful example of how religious imagery can be a source of cultural identity. In the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe, the image of the Virgin Mary is depicted not as a European noblewoman, but as an indigenous woman with dark skin and indigenous features. This powerful representation of the Virgin has become a symbol of resistance to colonialism. The story behind the Virgin of Guadalupe is one of spiritual and cultural reclamation. It represents the faith of the indigenous people, not the colonizers who sought to erase their identity and impose foreign images. The Virgin Mary's appearance as an indigenous woman speaks volumes about the deep connection between religion and the local culture. When Juan Diego, an indigenous man, saw the vision of the Virgin Mary on Tepeyac Hill in 1531, she spoke to him in the Nahoro language, the language of the Aztecs. She appeared as one of them, affirming that their faith was as valid and sacred as any other. This encounter, which led to the creation of the iconic image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, was a spiritual awakening, not just for Juan Diego, but for the entire indigenous population of Mexico. It became a reminder that their identity, their culture, and their faith were not to be erased by the Spanish colonizers. Breaking the mold. Both Ethiopia and Mexico serve as powerful reminders that Christianity, like all religions, is deeply intertwined with the cultures in which it exists. While the Western world sought to project its ideals onto the figure of Jesus, these regions remain steadfast in portraying him as a reflection of their own people. These alternative depictions of Jesus are more than just art. They are acts of defiance against centuries of colonial and cultural oppression. They challenge the Eurocentric narrative that has dominated Christianity for centuries and remind us that religion is not a one-size-fits-all model. Just as Jesus' teachings transcended borders and cultures, so too should the way we perceive him. Elon Musk and the science behind the real Jesus. This is no publicity stunt. Elon Musk has teamed up with Israeli anthropologists, archaeological experts, and 3D reconstruction specialists to uncover the most accurate portrayal of Jesus Christ ever created, and the results are nothing short of groundbreaking. 1. The reconstruction process. In an effort to separate fact from centuries of artistic interpretation, Musk's team embarked on a highly scientific journey to reconstruct the face of Jesus Christ. The process was meticulous, using cutting-edge technology to piece together clues that were scattered across history. Choosing the right skulls. The team began by obtaining skulls from the 1st century, specifically from the region of Galilee, where Jesus lived. These skulls were crucial for understanding the physical characteristics of people from that time. CT scans to build a 3D model. Using advanced CT imaging, the team created a 3D model of the skulls. These scans allowed them to visualize the underlying bone structure and build an accurate representation of the facial features. AI to estimate facial muscle thickness. With the 3D model in hand, artificial intelligence software helped estimate the thickness of the soft tissues that would have covered the face. This allowed them to simulate how the muscles, skin, and facial features might have looked. Biblical clues. The team also turned to the Bible for clues. For instance, in Paul's letter to the Corinthians, He condemns long hair on men. This statement, combined with the cultural context of the time, led the team to conclude that Jesus likely had short, tightly curled hair, rather than the long flowing locks often seen in traditional depictions. Middle Eastern climate. To further refine the model, the team considered the climate of the region. Given the hot, dry environment of ancient Palestine, Jesus would have had weathered, sun-kissed skin, a far cry from the pale, smooth complexions often seen in Western artwork. 2. The shocking results. The result was a face that starkly contrasts with the conventional image of Jesus. No longer a tall, fair-skinned man with angelic eyes, but instead a rugged Middle Eastern figure. The reconstruction revealed a man with tanned skin, short curly hair, and deep brown eyes. A man whose features would have blended seamlessly with the people of Palestine. This shocking new image of Jesus challenges centuries of artistic tradition and forces us to rethink not only how we depict Christ, but also how we view history itself. It's a powerful reminder that truth is often hidden beneath layers of myth, waiting to be uncovered by those willing to ask the hard questions. The Catholic Church, faith and image. The Catholic Church has never provided a specific description of Jesus' physical appearance. However, over the centuries, the traditional Western image of a fair-skinned, long-haired Christ has become an unspoken standard, deeply embedded in the faith's visual culture. 1. What does Catholic doctrine say? According to the Second Vatican Council, the Catholic Church acknowledges that every culture should be allowed to express its faith through its own unique, artistic interpretations. This recognition opens the door for diverse depictions of Jesus, allowing different cultures to relate to Christ in ways that resonate with their own identity and history. However, despite this openness, it is undeniable that white, European images of Jesus continue to dominate the Western world. In the Church's teachings, faith is more than just a set of beliefs. It is a deeply personal and cultural connection to the divine. The Catholic doctrine encourages believers to find Christ in their own language, in their own images. This means that while Jesus is universally considered the Savior, how he is portrayed can vary widely depending on where one stands. Yet, in practice, the European image of a fair-skinned, light-haired Jesus persists in many Western churches, especially in art and popular media. 2. The changing landscape of Christian imagery. Across the world, certain places are now challenging the long-standing norm, redefining the image of Christ in ways that reflect the diversity of his followers. These shifts in religious imagery are not just about artistic preference, but are deeply intertwined with cultural reclamation and the desire for a faith that represents all people. St. Sabina Church, Chicago. In this vibrant church, the image of Jesus has been re-envisioned as a figure with African features, reflecting the African American community's connection to their faith. This shift is part of a broader movement within the African diaspora to reclaim religious figures and affirm cultural identity in a world that has often overlooked their presence in Christian art. John Coltrane Church, San Francisco. In an extraordinary blend of spirituality and music, this church uses jazz, especially the works of Coltrane, a devout Christian and revolutionary musician, to worship. The church's integration of jazz into the liturgy emphasizes that faith can be expressed in many forms, challenging traditional worship and offering a space where culture, music, and spirituality are seamlessly intertwined. Notre Dame Cathedral, Paris. Deep within the walls of this iconic church, the image of Saint Maurice, an African saint, stands out as a symbol of Christian diversity. Saint Maurice was once a prominent figure in European Christianity, but over time, his representation was largely erased. Today, Notre Dame proudly honors him, ensuring that African heritage is recognized and celebrated in the history of European Christianity. Connecting faith and folklore. In many cultures, the image of Jesus has been reinterpreted through the lens of local folklore and traditions. For instance, in Latin America, the image of Christ is often seen as one of the people, a symbol of the oppressed, the marginalized. This resonates with the powerful story of Our Lady of Guadalupe, where the Virgin Mary appeared as an indigenous woman, speaking to the people in their own language and affirming their dignity and place in God's kingdom. Similarly, in African and African American communities, the portrayal of Jesus with African features is more than just a shift in image. It is a way of reconnecting with ancestral faith, affirming that Christ is not just the savior of one race, but of all people regardless of skin color or background. These changes highlight a critical point. Religion, at its heart, is about the relationships we build with each other and with the divine. By reimagining the image of Jesus, these communities are finding new ways to express their deep, enduring faith, a faith that transcends borders, cultures, and centuries of misrepresentation. Image, technology, and the 4.0 era. In the age of technology, images are no longer mere representations. They have become powerful tools of influence. In an era where digital manipulation and virtual realities shape the way we perceive the world, the very image of Jesus Christ, long crafted by cultural and religious conventions, is being redefined through the lens of science and technology. 1. Artificial intelligence and faith. Elon Musk's use of artificial intelligence, AI, and 3D technology to reconstruct the face of Jesus is a testament to the power of modern technology. The digital age has given us the ability to create lifelike images based on data, and in this case, it was used to craft the most historically accurate portrayal of Jesus Christ to date. But the deeper question remains: as images become increasingly realistic, what do we truly believe in? This era of advanced technology challenges the boundaries between fact and fiction, reality and perception. As AI continues to develop, it can simulate any image or experience to such a degree that it's sometimes hard to discern what is real. When we now look at an image of Jesus constructed from historical skulls, AI-generated muscle and skin patterns, and biblical clues, how do we reconcile this scientific reconstruction with the spiritual image we have held for centuries? The question becomes not only about the accuracy of the image, but also about what we place our faith in. Is our belief rooted in the tangible, the scientifically proven, or in something transcendent that goes beyond the physical world? Can faith withstand the dissonance between technology's precision and the subjective, deeply personal nature of religious experience? 2. Can technology disrupt faith? For some, the revelation of a new, scientifically reconstructed Jesus raises concerns. Will this modern depiction shake the foundations of traditional faith? For centuries, the image of Jesus has been tied to the spiritual journey, serving as a symbol of hope, love, and salvation. The traditional image passed down through generations is more than just an icon. It's a reflection of the divine. Yet, the Catholic doctrine, as outlined in the Second Vatican Council, reminds us that faith is not based on the physical image of Christ, but on His love, His life, and His resurrection. These spiritual truths transcend any image we can create. The true essence of Christianity lies in the message and teachings of Christ, not in the physical representation of His likeness. Technology may alter the way we perceive Christ's image, but it cannot alter the core of what we believe. In fact, it may offer new ways for people to connect with the message of love, compassion, and redemption, empowering a more inclusive, diverse understanding of faith that resonates with modern believers. The essence of Jesus and the spiritual message He brings is not bound by any image, Whether it is ancient or modern, digital or painted, the faith remains the same, timeless and ever relevant. Conclusion: who do we see Christ in? The new image of Jesus Christ is not merely a face. It is a mirror inviting humanity to reflect on how we perceive ourselves and the divine. For centuries, we have clung to a singular, often westernized representation of Jesus, one shaped by cultural biases and historical influences. But what if we began to see Christ in those we often overlook, those who are marginalized or those who are suffering? Can you see Jesus in the face of a black person, in the eyes of a poor woman struggling to survive, or in the face of a refugee fleeing persecution? The scientifically reconstructed image of Christ challenges us to look beyond the physical and familiar and invites us to broaden our understanding of who Christ truly is. Perhaps our deep attachment to one image of Christ has made us forget his most fundamental teaching, that he is found not in power, but in humility and service. I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. These words, spoken by Jesus, remind us that we should recognize him not in a particular likeness, but in the people around us, in every person who suffers, every person who is rejected, and every person who seeks refuge. The true image of Christ isn't confined to a picture on a church wall or a statue in a cathedral. It's reflected in the faces of those around us, the stranger, the oppressed, the voiceless. Christ's message is not about appearance, but about action. Feeding the hungry, caring for the sick, welcoming the stranger, and standing up for justice. In a world where technology allows us to manipulate and recreate images, let's remember that the true image of Christ goes far beyond any digital rendering. It's found in every act of love, compassion, and kindness. When we look into the eyes of another, we are called to see Christ in them. This is the most profound image of all. What do you think about this new portrayal of Jesus and what it means for our faith? How do you view the changing imagery of Christ in modern times? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you found this topic thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insightful discussions and content. Your support helps keep the conversation going.